Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host, as always, Professor Prime. You've read the title, you've read the description, so let's get right into it. I am writing a book, and in that upcoming book, there's going to be a lot going on. And so, what kind of book? Well, it's a math textbook. And with that, it's going to be unlike any other math textbook you've ever seen. It's going to be a math textbook the way that only Professor Prime can write. And I'm looking forward to that. In the past, I've written a lot of notes, I've done a lot of curriculum development, and I do have a way of explaining things that helps get, the point across in a broader sense than I think most math textbooks do. And I got a lot of positive feedback from all of that, and so I definitely feel comfortable turning this into a book and expanding. But if I just wrote a regular math textbook as is, I think that would be very boring for me and super unhelpful to people who would be reading it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but not all of it, because one, is a work in progress. Two, why ruin all the surprises? So I will have the traditional setup to an extent where there will be, different chapters, different sections, and they'll be introducing a concept followed by practice. And what I'm doing differently though is instead of putting the solutions in the back, I'll be putting them after the practice problem set. And instead of just focusing on the answer, I'm going to have like step-by-step solutions, and in some cases multiple solutions, just to get the idea across that, hey, you can approach these problems different ways. And if you're wondering why I want to do that, is like I want to give people a good idea of what's going on with math. And I'm not doing this for a class. I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing this to support my message, so I can do it however I want. And having that freedom, it really works wonders for me, I feel. And the idea is like people will go and they will test out those math problems. They'll go and they'll do the practice, and then they can check their work. And one of the big things with math is that it's real easy to make small mistakes, and that doesn't mean you don't know how to do something. It just means you made a mistake. And so by me writing out the solutions instead of just telling you what the solution is, it lets you see what kind of mistake you made, if you've made a mistake at all, because you could have been perfect. So what it will be like is like it'll give you an idea by looking at it if you've made an arithmetic mistake, if you've made a conceptual mistake, if you made a reading mistake. And the idea is it might also give you different ways to do things. You might be like, oh, well, I didn't think about doing a problem that way. And so a lot of them will also have multiple solutions. So I'm looking forward to that part. But if you think it's just going to be all that, like I got news for you, it's going to be more than that too. Because yes, there's going to be a glossary as you can expect, but there's also going to be different text, before and after the sections that'll like give you a better idea of how this stuff can be used, or why it's actually important and what's really going on here. Like, what's the motivation behind this section? So I'll be doing that for like those sections as I go, and I think that'll be pretty cool. And throughout it, I have a certain motivational way of teaching, and I can take that and turn it into text form. And I think that's important because if you're teaching math, it's not enough to just know the subject. You have to know it well, and you have to know how to teach or be willing to learn. And so when you're teaching math, you're a mathematician, you're an educator, you're also a coach if you're doing it right. And so I want to take that and put it into the written form. And I write how I talk, so that won't be an issue, and I'll be refining it as I go on. And there's going to be more to it than all of what I just said too, because I feel like if you're learning math, it's not just that class that you got to consider, right? It's a lot of different things. So I will be having study tips in there and how to deal with math anxiety and different test taking tips and things along those lines. So this book will be a true Professor Prime experience. It'll be like I'm doing with my channel and like what I'm doing with my site, but like in written form, and it'll be what I want to bring to the table on my own terms. So I'm looking forward to that. And everything I mentioned is the tip of the iceberg because that book will also have more things involved, but more on that at a later date. I've already outlined and planned how I wanted to do this and compiling what I do have, refining it, making new content as well. And if I'm really, really ambitious, I can get this done by the end of the year. But that's if I'm really, really ambitious, and time also works out for me. If not, I could definitely see it coming out in 2021 if it gets really crazy busy for me. Because the other thing is not just like making the book, but also editing that. And I'm gonna be like self-publishing, so we don't have to wait long after I'm done editing that. That way, if I self-publish, I don't have to worry about this distributor or that distributor. I can again keep things on my own terms, and I can also set the price so that what I have will be very, very useful for people. It'll be affordable for people. They'll be getting some bang for their buck, and then some. I don't want this video to get too long though, but that's what's on the horizon. Like I said, if I'm really ambitious and I got the time, I want to get this done by the end of 2020. And if not, 2021 won't be an issue for me. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video and look forward to that book. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to make that so. Professor Prime out.